This video is about finding slope from points and graphs. So yesterday you learned how to find the slope from a table and a function rule. Today we're going to determine the slope given 2 points and the slope of a line from a graph. The thing you need to remember from yesterday is that slope is your change in y over your change in x. So first let's start by looking at given 2 points. We need to find the slope given 2 points and determine if the line is rising, falling, horizontal, or vertical. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to take my points, I'm going to make an XY table. So when I write my points in my XY table, I write them from left to right. So my first point is 2, 3, and my second point is negative 8, 5. I need to figure out how my numbers are changing. So first I need to figure out how did I get from 3 to 5. So what I can do is I can subtract my two numbers. The number on the bottom minus the number on top means I have a change of 2. For my x's, number on the bottom minus the number on the top means I have a change of negative 10. So I'm going to use these numbers to write my slope. So my slope is change in y, which is 2, over change in x, which is negative 10. I can take a 2 out of both of these, so my final slope is negative 1/5. Now, because my slope is negative, this means my line is falling. Number 2, I'm going to make a table. So I have my x, y's, 8, negative 1, and 8, negative 7. So when I look at my change, negative 7 minus negative 1. Two negatives make a positive, so it's really negative 7 plus 1, which means my change is negative 6 for y. When I do x, they're the same number, so 8 minus 8 gets me a change of 0. So when I go to find my slope is equal to negative 6 change in y over 0 my change in x. If I was to divide by 0 in my calculator, negative 6 divided by 0 tells me I have an error where I can't divide by 0. That's because this is an undefined slope. Undefined slopes happen because my x coordinates are the same, which means I would have a vertical line. Number 3, I'm going to make a table. So I have my x, y, I have 3, 4, and 9, 4. This time, when I look at my coordinates, my y's are the same, so 4 minus 4 gets me a change of y is 0. My x's, 9 minus 3, gets me a change of 6. So my slope in this case is 0 divided by 6. When I do 0 divide by any number, I get a slope of 0. So anytime 0 is on top, that means we have a 0 slope. And because our y is not changing, this means we have a horizontal line. So let's take one more example of looking when we're given 2 points. So I'm going to create a table again. So I have my x, y, negative 10, negative 3, and negative 4, 9. So I'm going to look at how are my y's changing. 9 minus negative 3. Two negatives make a positive. So I'm changing my y's by 12. My x, negative 4 minus negative 10. Two negatives make a positive. So my x is changing by 6. So my slope here is change in y 12 over change in x 6, which reduces to 2, or we could write 2 over 1. Because my slope is positive, that means this time that my line is rising. Now let's switch gears and let's look at finding the slope from given a graph. Same thing, we're going to find our slope and we're going to determine if the line is rising, falling, horizontal, or vertical. So in number 5, I can look at my line right away and I can see that my line is increasing from left to right. Because my line is increasing from left to right, that means my line is rising. when I go to find the slope, I can pick any 2 points on the line. So I can pick the first, second, third, or fourth. I'm going to pick the second and the third just because they're more in the middle. When I look at my slope, I have to determine my change in y. So I have to decide if I want to go up or down to get even with the next point. In this case, because my line is rising, I'm going to go up. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to count how many spots that is. So I'm going to count each line. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a rise of 4 for my change in y. And then how many do I move over to the right to get to that dot? I'm always going to move to the right. So that case is 1, 2 lines. So my slope is 4 over 2, which reduces to 2. In number 6, this line is going to be falling because if I look at my line, it is decreasing from left to right. So to find my slope, I'm going to pick 2 points. So I'll pick the first point and the second point this time. Because my line is falling, I want to go down to get even with my point, and then to the right. So I went down 1 line, and I went right 1 line. So my slope is negative 1 over 1, which we can write as negative 1. Seven and 8 are special cases. So if I look at number 7, 7 is a horizontal line. So if I pick any 2 points on this, notice that I'm never increasing from one point to the other. They're on the same line. They're at the same level. So my change is 0 for my y. And with my 2 points, I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. Because there's a 0 on top, remember my slope is 0. All horizontal lines have a slope of 0. The last line is my vertical line. So in a vertical line, I'm going to count how many did I go up and over. So if I pick any 2 points on the line, I just put my 2 dots wherever I felt like. I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I never went to the right though because they're on the same line, so 0. Remember when we have a 0, we can't divide by that, so it's an undefined slope. So vertical lines always have an undefined slope.